6 p.m. and it is time for me to get ready for my night shift. Yep, that's right. I'm back on night float. Well, if you don't know, night float is where you have a 2 week rotation of nights, 6 nights a week, 1 day off. And it's the holidays, so my days off are going to be Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve, which is fine. But today is my first night shift in the series of nights. It is my transitioning shift. It's not really called that, but I'm calling it that because I was on days yesterday, and this is going to be my first night. My shift starts at 8 p.m., so gotta get ready for the shift. Okay, we're changed. So it is like 40 degrees / 30 degrees in New York now because it's winter. So I've got my scrubs, obviously, but I'm wearing thermal leggings underneath. Hold on. I want to show you. Is he purple? Ugh. I cannot lift my leg because there's so much pant that it's like too big, too tight. I cannot help it. Anyways, so that's the first step to getting ready for the night shift. Put on your clothes. All right, let's do the next step. So the next most important thing, well, I'll tell you in a second. So the next most important thing about preparing for the night shift is coffee. I physically would love to drink some coffee right now, but it's so important to have a full coffee when you start the shift because the coffee at the hospital, not that good. I'm kind of nervous about who my team is going to be for this night float because my last night float was honestly so like nice. The group was great and the camaraderie was amazing, and I actually looked forward to going to work every day, even though I was like, I wish this wasn't at nighttime. And I don't know who the next group of people are. Like, I see their names on the list, but I actually do not know them. I've never met them. So that's a little scary. Hopefully, they're a cool group of people that I get along with and we become friends. It's a 13 to 14 hour shift because on some days we do a night float conference at the end of the shift from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And that just adds an extra hour to the end of the shift once a week. Totally blows. And it's like at that point, your brain is freaking fried. You don't want to talk to anybody. And then you get asked dumb questions. I'm ranting. Ignore me. Yep, it is definitely nighttime. So we just got called for an RRT, which means that a patient is in trouble and the patient's blood pressure is really, really low. So I'm running to get the ultrasound right now from the ICU so that we can see what's going on. Hopefully they didn't have an aortic aneurysm rupture or anything like that. Let's check it out. Right now the patient's okay, but blood pressure is really low, so we need to see what's going on. OMG, so embarrassing. There was an RRT and I was sent to go bring up the blood gas, and I came back down without the blood gas, like a freaking idiot. And I thought it was going to go into the computer, but apparently it doesn't. So they were like, "Where's the gas?" And I was like, "Oops, my bad." And I went to go get it. And then my senior texted me that they actually did have the gas in the computer. So the result is there. And I'm in the elevator for no reason. Okay, so the nurse just came up to me telling me about a patient whose blood pressure is pretty low in like the 80s over 50s, which is very low. And the goal blood pressure for this patient is like 130s to 150s. So obviously the BP is very low. And I'm just taking a look at the chart to make sure methodically looking at what's been going on. So it looks like the first low blood pressure started around 4 o'clock, and since then has continued to drop. So I have to take a look at the medications. Did they get anything around 4 or anything recently that could have lowered the blood pressure? Doesn't look like it. Okay, so since we last spoke, here's the details, here's the story, here's what's happened. It's 2 o'clock in the morning, and I don't remember what the last thing we talked about was, but we got a new admission. So when you're on night float, you have all these different tasks that you have to do. So there's, all the patients that are on the 2 teams that you're taking care of. The day team gives you whatever's left over to take care of for them. So in this case, we had 2 situations. One was that there's a patient who needs to get a blood transfusion. In order to do a blood transfusion, you need to know their blood type. We have to have an active, new blood type in order to do the blood transfusion within 2 to 3 days. So my dear patient, unfortunately, it's difficult to get the blood from them. So we had to try and go do an A stick, an arterial stick. So we take the needle and we go into the radial artery in the wrist. It's very, very painful, and it's not enjoyable for anybody, but we had to try. We tried 3 times on the patient. No blood came out. The other task we had to do was sometimes patients have catheterizations like left heart, right heart cath. Through cardiology, we have to go and check the site that they went in. Sometimes it's in the groin, sometimes it's in the wrist. And you have to go and make sure that there is no blood coiling underneath, no bruise coming underneath the skin at the site. Make sure that there's no clotting happening, no pain, that there's still good pulses. So we just did that for one of our patients. Y'all, I'm so frustrated. So it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I just got a new admission. I feel like my team is getting all the admissions. I don't even know how. The literal team I'm on is full. I don't have any more spots. But the way that it works is no matter how, as long as there's free spots in the hospital, anybody can do the admission. It doesn't matter what team you're on. So frustrating, man. I'm tired. It's 3 o'clock. At 4 o'clock, we're going to have teaching with our attending. Okay, peeps, it is officially 5:30 a.m. and I had one new admission. I saw the patient, but they don't speak English. So, and they're also kind of deaf. So it was a bit hard to interview them. But we got to get a lot of information just from looking at the body, just from physical exam. So we have a good treatment plan, and I think that the patient will be okay, which is a good thing. And then we'll have somebody talk to their family members in the morning because it's 5:30 in the morning, and by the time we saw the patient, it was 4 o'clock in the morning. We really didn't want to wake up the patient's family member to get some history when the patient's pretty stable. So now I'm just hoping I don't get any more admissions because our team has gotten 4 admissions tonight, and dealing with messages from the nurses about morning labs. Some patients are refusing. Well, it's okay. And I'm really tired. I got a snack. You saw me get that snack. The milk was expired, so I was pouring it into the cereal, and it was chunky. It was so bad. So many things in my hands. So many things. Hello, folks. So it's 7:30 in the morning, and I just finished presenting my new patients to all the teams. So now I'm going to go wait for night float report, which is from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And in it, we each get to talk about a case that we admitted today. And it totally sucks because it's exhausting after a 13-hour shift. But it must be done, and it's only once a week, thank God.